Hey, I'm Kevin Kaduk, CHGO Head of Content.
And I'm Nicholas Moreano, CHGO Bears Beat Reporter.
This is CHGO Tavern Style, presented by Salerno's on Tap, our favorite tavern style pizza. Nick, today's topic is how old is too old to wear a pair of Jordans? And I brought up the conversation because it was something that the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco brought up on Super Bowl Radio Road last week. And I thought this is a good tandem. I am in my mid-40s. I scheduled a colonoscopy last week. I am wearing Jordans today. Meanwhile, you're a sneakerhead and you just got your driver's license. So congratulations on that. Nick, am I too old to wear a pair of Jordans?
Kevin, you're not too old, but I think there is a limit for people that want to wear Jordans. I actually called up my dad a little bit earlier today, and I was like, Dad, you're about to turn 58, right? And he's like, yes. And he's never worn Jordans. And that's where I want to go into this, because I think if you're starting to get into Jordans when you're just turning 50 or you're in your 50s, don't. It's not right for you. Look, these are not priced they're not reasonably priced. Right. You have to take care of them. You're going to invest in these things. I just don't think that's the route a 50-year-old man or woman should take if you're going to go into buying or wearing your first pair of Jordans.
Robert Kraft wears Jordans. Can Robert Kraft wear Jordans?
And see, this is where the other thing. If you're in sports, I think there's a leeway where you can get away with wearing Jordans. But if you're your everyday, dad or whatever, you're going to go mow the lawn, that's not the shoe that you want to be wearing for them. So I think if you're in sports and you do own a pair of Jordans, that's all right. But look, if you're getting into it for the first time, I don't know if it's for you.
A lot of it is about fitting in. I will say this, though. Your dad is 58. When Jordans first came out, he was probably in that target market. He was probably going out there trying to look good. What was the first price on them? Like $60. Probably saved up his money and wanted to go out and buy some. So to me, like that's the thing. Okay, I'm 45. I remember when Jordans first came out. I remember my older cousin wanting them. I remember my parents being like, "Oh, that price tag's like $60. That's way too much money for you to get them." And I was never able to get them that early in my life. And then, in high school, I got the later ones. And I've even brought it up with you guys, some of the younger guys here. Like, I have some old ones down in my basement, or I can only find like one of them. And the one that I did find doesn't really feel that, though the retro ones don't feel great. But I don't know. I think to a certain point of it, it's like, yes, it is wanting to feel young. They're fashionable. I mean, you kind of want to, like walking in here to CHGO, there's so many great sneakers on everyone's feet. It's like, oh, I got to get some too. But I do find it's weird that it's a question of Jordans, because it's a question that maybe people don't ask of the other like famous shoes, like in Nike's line, right? I mean, if you're wearing Air Force Ones, if you're wearing, it's not as big of a deal to wear those as opposed to Jordans, I guess.
Well, I think it's the greatest sneaker, right? With the Jordan brand. And I think too, like, I wasn't big into the Jordan brand prior to, getting this job, honestly. Like, everyone's wearing these Jordans, like, I need to get in on that.
So it was okay.
So it was really CHGO, because I never had really had a pair of Jordans. And then you see, again, like you were mentioning, everyone in the office like, well, I just want to fit in. And then it became like a small addiction where I'm like, oh, now I have another pair of Jordans and another pair of Jordans. Yeah. But even just wearing them for long periods of time, they're just not the most practical shoe. And I think when I put that 50-year age range, like, don't you just want something practical? Don't you want to wear something that's comfortable? Jordans are not necessarily that, but you're going to look good wearing them.
Right, for sure. Hey, I want to shout out Salerno's on Tap. They're over at 1201 West Grand Avenue. They've got tavern-style pizza. They have ice-cold beers. They are not that far from the Yard Center, so pop in there before or after Blackhawks or Bulls game. Salerno'sPizza.com, 312-666-3444. Now, where I am against people wearing Jordans, really of my age or older, I'm kind of also one of those people. It's like, all right, man, I don't really need to be cool anymore. So whatever I feel like I'm going to wear, I'm going to make cool. So there's part of that. Also not a big fan of the people who wear it with suits.
I was just about to go there, Kevin, because I brought this up to my girlfriend. I was like, what if I wore Jordans to our wedding? She's like, absolutely not. And I think some people can pull it off, but that's just it's
a very short list.
Very short list. And you're dressed nice, head to Oh, toes. You have Jordans on and not dress shoes. So I think there are certain occasions where, like, just go with the dress shoe as opposed to, what you think feels comfortable, what looks right. But the wedding, that's definitely a scenario where I'm going to be wearing dress shoes and not the actual Jordans.
So if you could wear a pair of Jordans to your wedding, which ones would they be?
I mean, you have to go with the Jordan 1. I think it's just the iconic sneaker, and I have the Chicago, colorway. So I think that would be probably the way I would go. I also have ones that are Iowa Hawkeyes colors too. So, but it's definitely the Jordan 1 model. That's what I would go with.
I like that. So, but yeah, I definitely agree. You're wearing a suit. You just got to go.
Right.
Just go classic. I don't know. Any closing thoughts on this?
I think that for people who haven't been ingrained into the Jordan culture, like, it is fun to be around. I do get, you do get compliments on your shoes, and sooner or later you download the sneakers app. You're like, oh boy, what's coming up? And that could be a scary place, but also a very exciting one at the same time.
Yeah, they are a classic. I think when you think about it, it's like now they just become a part of a staple of any wardrobe, like a good pair of loafers, a good pair of dress shoes, anything. So I would say no matter how old you are, wear those Jordans. This has been CHGO Tavern Style, presented by Salerno's on Tap. Make sure you're downloading our podcast in the Chicago Sports Podcast feed, and we'll be back here on Tuesday with another round of CHGO Tavern Style.
We all silly like the mayor.